Hello, welcome to another video. So I have two main topics I want to talk about in this video. So the first one is going to be another little update as to how my recovery from surgery is going. And the second topic is going to be about a phone call I received yesterday from my surgeon. And that phone call received contained quite a lot of useful information and has given me quite a good plan or an idea of the plan going forwards with regards to my treatment. So a little bit more on that later in the video. So let's first of all talk about how I'm recovering. So it's 3 weeks since my surgery to remove my primary small bowel neuroendocrine tumour and a lymph node. And I'm happy to report things have been going pretty well this week. So I feel like I've kind of turned the corner. So my last video was a week ago, and I was explaining that I was having a few issues, what with constipation and just digestive issues in general, and shoulder pain. So shoulder pain completely gone, completely disappeared. Just seemed to disappear overnight, which was lovely because that was quite draining. And the digestive issues almost back to normal. So I've been taking your guys' advice, and I want to thank you very much for all your advice for those couple of issues. And I've been eating lots of prunes, and that's been helping. And yeah, really feel like getting back to my normal self. So feeling really positive about that. And actually earlier in this week, I went on a nice walk. And I took a little bit of a video whilst I was out on that walk, so let's just cut to that now. So the day is Wednesday, the 12th of May, and I've come out for a walk on my own. And I want to just tell you guys that I'm feeling a lot more like my old self. The shoulder pain that I talked about in the last video has all but gone away, and things downstairs are moving. So yeah, I'm really enjoying myself. I'm pretty conscious of not overdoing it. I'm not going to go too far, but I feel like I could walk a fair few miles if I wanted to today. But yeah, I just wanted to pick the phone up and just capture this moment of feeling good. So yeah, that's the latest update. Wednesday the 12th of March, 2.5 weeks after surgery, feeling good. So that's the longest walk that I've done so far. That was about 6 kilometers, and obviously a very slow, leisurely pace. And I got home and fell straight asleep on the sofa. So it definitely tired me out, but it felt awesome to be outside in that sunshine, and it made me start to dream of days that I can start training properly and go on some good trail runs and cycle rides. But yeah, not to be rushed, and that is in my future, something to look forward to. One of the places I'm happiest is just being outside exercising. But yeah, the plan going forward is to just gradually, introduce a little bit more exercise as we go, just steadily, increase the speed and distance of my walks, and then maybe bit of cycling on the stationary bike and just some general stretches and maybe some light core work. But as I say, just introduce it nice and slowly. Don't worry, no more press ups yet. But anyway, let's move on to the phone call that I received from the surgeon yesterday. So as I say, it was quite an exciting one. I was not really expecting much from this phone call. I was even expecting maybe it would just be one of the surgeon's team that would phone me and just to see how I was going and how I was recovering. But it was the surgeon himself, and he had quite a lot of information as to what my treatment is going to be going forwards. So they've actually met as the multidisciplinary team. So him, the oncologist, a number of other people involved in my care have all met and talked about me. And they've talked about the results that have come back from the lab with regards to the tumour that was removed. So they've looked at it now under a microscope, which is the first opportunity they had to really look at it, to see that and get that information. And it's quite invaluable information because it tells you how the cancer is growing, how quickly it's growing, and then that's going to determine treatment going forwards. So on a very basic level, neuroendocrine cancer is graded from 1 to 3. So 1 is slow growing neuroendocrine cancer, 2 is medium, and then 3 is fast. So my oncologist had always suspected that mine was quite a slow growing neuroendocrine cancer. And I was hoping that it would be a grade 1, but I had suspicions that maybe it was a grade 2 because of the fact that it had spread so far. But I'm pleased to say that my neuroendocrine cancer is a grade 1. So it's the slowest growing of the neuroendocrine cancer grades, which is excellent news. Psychologically, that's quite huge for me, just to sit here and think, at least my tumours are slow growing and they're not spreading everywhere really quickly. And also going forwards, if I do manage to get rid of all these tumours, just to know psychologically that if it was to come back, it's going to be growing slowly and it's not going to suddenly be everywhere in my body. So yeah, that was some pretty big happy news to get. But yeah, grade 1 neuroendocrine tumours. That's very different, obviously, to staging. So cancer staging is different, where it's staged from 1 to 4. Unfortunately, yeah, mine isn't a grade stage 1 cancer because it's spread to other organs. I wish it was a stage 1, but unfortunately it's not. But grade 1, so yeah, happy with that. Moving on to what's going to happen going forwards. So this is the exciting bit. So they've decided as well, looking at this cancer underneath the microscope, that it's not going to be suitable, or it won't have a great effect to have any chemotherapy or radiotherapy that at one point was getting talked about. So what they want to do is to go straight in and get rid of the cancer surgically. Now what this means is that I'm going to have an MRI in the next couple of weeks to determine whether my tumours in my liver have grown since my original MRI in February. So if my tumours haven't grown in that time, which I'm hopeful that they haven't, because I've been on lanreotide injections that whole time pretty much, and those lanreotide injections are supposed to halt the growth of the tumours. If they haven't grown, then the plan is to resect my liver and get rid of all the tumours in one big surgery, and that could mean removing as much as 75% of my liver, which is obviously quite a scary amount, but it is an amount that I will be able to recover from. Your liver does grow back over time. However, if my tumours have shown any growth, then they're going to split those surgeries up, and they're going to do it in 2. So it's one of the tumours that is worrying them the most, and it's something I've mentioned previously in my videos. I have one liver tumour that's kind of wrapped around the back near a major blood vessel that's also, I believe, spanning the left and right side of the liver. So what they'll do, if the tumour has grown at all, is tackle that tumour first in its own individual surgery. So they would have to cut a portion of the left side of my liver out and remove that tumour, and then allow that portion of my liver to regrow before then removing all the tumours from the right hand side. So obviously they don't want to remove more than 75% of my liver in one go, because then you could be in a bit of trouble and go into liver failure and things like that. So they want to avoid that. So any growth at all, I think they're going to split it up into 2. Hopefully the tumours have shown no growth and they can do it all in one big surgery, albeit quite a scary big surgery. But if they do need to do it in 2, then it'll just have to be the case, you know, just accept the fact that that's going to be the safest way to do it. I mean, psychologically, it's going to be a bit of a bummer to have to split it up, because there's going to have to be a fair bit of break in between the 2 surgeries in order to allow the liver to regenerate. But if that's the case, that's the case. Just the fact that I have the chance to get to that end goal of getting rid of all these tumours is just pretty huge, really. So all in all, yeah, pretty good news from that phone call. And his particularly, exciting bit of news is they want to do the surgery in June, so not long. So he says there's no point in hanging around. He wants to get in and get rid of this cancer. I imagine it's going to be the end of June. He couldn't confirm an actual date, so we've got to get everything in place first, get the MRI, and he'll be back in touch. But yeah, June, so it won't be long till I'm back in that hospital. And yeah, hopefully I don't faint this time. But yeah, so good news. I'm just trying to tackle it like I have with all the other news that I've received during this time, trying to not get too high or too low. It would be quite easy to get very excited about the news from yesterday. Obviously it's good news, it makes me smile, but I know there's probably going to be hurdles coming up. It's never straightforward, this thing. So if I can avoid getting too high, then it'll avoid me dropping too low. So that's the news. I hope you found it interesting. If you did, hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't. We're nearly at 5,000 subscribers, which is incredible. And thank you very much to every one of you. And I'll catch you in the next video.